Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope everybody has had a great week, and I hope you're looking forward to an awesome weekend. Students, in this class we're looking at IELTS reading, and this reading passage is on the topic of a disappearing sea. This is for the academic IELTS, but if you are a general IELTS student, you will very soon realize that section 3 of the general IELTS is very similar to the 3 reading passages of the academic IELTS. For those of you who are new to the IELTS exam, the reading section of the test is 1 hour long with some passages and 40 questions. We will look at one of these types of passages and the questions. This material, this lesson, is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that power these live classes. They contain our materials. Our academic website looks like this with the blue background. You can join the premium version of our course by simply clicking the big red button above my head. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. We're an IDP affiliate, we're a British Council partner, we're an IELTS test registration center. We are the first to put IELTS videos on YouTube in history. We are world leaders when it comes to IELTS exams. For general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. It's the green background, and again, click that big red button there to join the premium package. This is a members chat class, everybody. To join the chat, you do need to be a member of the YouTube channel. Simply click the join button next to the subscribe button. Welcome, Fuong. Hi, Anahita. Hi, Anna. Nice to see our members joining in. Everybody, we will have a subscribers chat class after this one, which will be a listening section practice and strategy class coming up in about 2 hours. Now, a new feature we're adding in this year is for premium members on our websites. So if you have a premium account on aehelp.com or gieltshelp.com, we're adding one live Zoom class each week. It's not on YouTube, it's on Zoom, and that's on Sundays. So we're going to have one this week. It will be a speaking class for premium students, and I will be sending an email to our premium students with that Zoom link for Sunday's class. So keep an eye out for that email. If you are a premium student and you don't see that email within the next 24 hours, you should let me know so that we can get you that link and passcode for that Zoom session. So that will be on Sunday. Students, we do have apps for you to study the IELTS, Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help in your app store. Grab those apps and link them to your web accounts. Instagram is IELTS_AEHelp, GIELTS Help. And if, sorry, if you feel more comfortable purchasing the premium package through YouTube, then you can get it through Shopify. Excuse me, frog in my throat. It's early here, 5:30. You are the first people I'm talking to today. So there goes that frog. So youtube.com/aehelp/store. That is the AEHelp app, or sorry, not app, but website premium account through Shopify. So you can get that as well. Here's something interesting for some of you out there who are tech savvy and like editing videos. We're looking for new video editors to join our team, and we thought, hey, why not see if some of our IELTS students out there are interested in this. So if you are into editing videos, especially if you know how to use DaVinci Resolve, send us your CV. Send us your resume. We'd love to take a look at it. We're looking for a couple of new editors to join our team. If you have questions, if you're interested in this job, if you have questions about IELTS, send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. So any questions, or if you'd like to maybe join our wonderful team of editors. Okay, everybody, so we're into reading, and reading we shall. This is the passage for today. Now, we're going to read this as a team with our students using our website, and then we will answer some questions. This is reading passage 2 from new exams that we're publishing this year, hopefully in the first quarter. The Aral Sea is gone. Reasons and impacts. Well, if you've never heard about the Aral Sea, that's okay. If you have, that's okay too. Unfortunately, it's not really there anymore. Welcome, Chen, our chat moderator. Hi, Karem. Nice to see you join up again to be an ongoing member. That's great. Okay, students, so the Aral Sea is gone, reasons and impacts. Now, the titles are really important. They give you a lot of ideas. So here it's basically saying, hey, okay, look, there's a large body of water. It's disappeared. And it also says reasons and impacts. So it says, you know, why that happened and how that's going to affect life that's there around the sea, presumably, right? So again, everybody, remember your strategies for reading. The first one, step 1, always look at the title. Never just jump the title. I think most people have this now. In the past, I saw a lot of IELTS candidates just kind of ignoring the title, like it's not even there, like it's a waste of time to read it. That is definitely not a waste of time to read the title. So read the title and visualize and infer the information. So for example, Aral Sea is gone. Let's check the spelling on that. Aral, A-R-A-L. So Aral Sea is gone. What does that mean, right? So a large body of salt water, seas are usually salt water is no longer there. Maybe it's fresh water, but usually seas are salt water, is no longer there. And then it says reasons. Reasons, why? Maybe climate change, maybe human impact, farming of some sorts, right? And then impact. So what I'm doing right now, everybody, is if I were in the IELTS exam and I'm sitting there and I read this title and I have 20 minutes to read and answer the questions, in 10 seconds, 20 seconds, okay, no more. It shouldn't take you very long to do this. You visualize it. I imagine I'm in a boat. The boat is landlocked. I'm paddling sand. Where's the water? What happened? Oh, I see some farms there in the distance. I see a bunch of dead fish. So I'm visualizing this. I'm seeing it, right? So the impact, maybe bad economy. Anahita says maybe it doesn't exist anymore because it was contaminated. Well, I don't know, Anahita. I mean, if a body of water is contaminated, it doesn't just disappear, right? It has to, something has to cause it to disappear, even if it is contaminated, right? So the impact, bad for flora and fauna. Flora means plant life, right? So obviously plants need water. So bad for plant life. Fauna is animals, right? Obviously animals need water. Bad for human economy and communities. So as many of you I'm sure know, 80% of humanity or 85% of humanity lives within a couple kilometers of water. It's because we need water just like other animals and plants. So obviously it's bad for that. So all of this information comes to my mind. Okay, now this is reading. Do make sure to speak and repeat. So I usually only say this in the speaking classes, but do make sure to speak and repeat. Write down new vocabulary. Okay, so practice, be active in the class. It's okay if you're listening passively. Hopefully you're not doing anything that's requiring your attention like driving, but it's okay if you're listening passively. It's best if you're actively participating with me, right? Okay. All right, everybody. So we read the title, we visualize it, we put ourselves in the situation, we think about what that might mean. Then we look at the questions for step 2. Okay. Now, here we go. This is a kind of an interesting question type. It's a table completion, and you do get these. You see these in the exam. It says choose one word only from the passage. And we have the subject, which is Aral Sea, cotton, modern day Uzbekistan, negative effects. Now, in this type of question, really pay attention to this heading, the subject heading or the subject headings, because it kind of gives you an idea of the main topics of this passage. So I can tell from this question that the main topics of this passage are the Aral Sea, of course, cotton. Now, if I'm not sure what cotton is, I have to do a little bit of reading, and I can read a bit of this, right, quickly. Don't pay attention to every word, just read over it. So cotton comes from the cotton plant, which can be found in many warmer regions of the world. The oldest evidence of cotton production. Okay, so cotton is some kind of a plant. Hopefully many of you know cotton is the plant used to make fabric, clothes. This is a cotton shirt that I'm wearing. Modern day Uzbekistan. Okay, great. That gives me a little bit of an idea of the location of where this is. And the negative effects. Okay. Now, I do recommend reading over the comments here as well. Okay, because all of this is in the passage. Don't read these slowly. Just read this nice and quick. Okay, so read with me, everybody. This is a reading class. Read with me. Read aloud. Okay. It's very, very important to read aloud. Okay, so step 2, look at the questions and read content that is found in the passage. Do not read content that is not in the passage, like multiple choice question answers, for example. Okay? All right. Now, again, everybody, this is reading, so read with me. Okay, read aloud. Hopefully you're in a nice space where you can read aloud with me. Okay. All right. Let's do this. So the comments, here we go. Though it is called a sea, the Aral Sea is actually one of the largest something in the world. The body of water was formed when geologic forces affected the flow of two something, the Amu Darya and the Sir Darya. Okay, I have some ideas of what the answers are there, but I'm not going to answer just yet. Cotton comes from the cotton plant, which can be found in many warmer regions of the world. The oldest evidence of cotton production has been found in something. Today, the natural resource cotton production requires more than anything else is something. This has resulted in the depletion of the Aral Sea. Okay. Cotton production is ongoing in Uzbekistan, and its economy still relies on it. Indeed, cotton production is part of the something of Uzbekistan. Okay. Obviously, cotton is quite important for this passage. Cotton production has many negative effects on communities, on the environment, and on the something of individuals. All right. Next one. A reading passage 2 has 7 paragraphs, A to G. Which paragraph contains the following information? Okay, good. This type of question, everybody, when you see this, which paragraph contains the following information, this type of question should very strongly signal that there's a strategy which doesn't work too well for the IELTS reading. And I think many of our members know this, and that's skimming and scanning. Okay, a lot of people think skimming and scanning for keywords is the way to save time and do a good job in the IELTS reading. This is wrong, okay? It doesn't work, and it's slow as a primary strategy. So it's not a main strategy. Skimming and scanning can help in some situations, but it's not the main strategy. That's not the way you should go into reading. You shouldn't be like, okay, I'm looking for keywords. Here we go. No, here you don't go, because you have questions like this one. For instance, number 20 here says the degree of shrinkage of the Aral Sea in the past. So here you think, okay, maybe the word shrinkage. The passage might not say shrinkage. It might say something else like become smaller, okay, reduced in size. There are lots of other ways to say shrinkage. And there's a very good chance that in the IELTS they paraphrase that. Obviously, if you're looking for Aral Sea, you'll find that probably 20, 30 times in the passage. So this whole statement can be paraphrased. And here's the kicker. There's a chance that this information is contained in paragraph G, in the last paragraph. So now, if you're skimming and scanning, you might end up scanning the whole passage to discover that the answer is in paragraph G. And if you check your watch or the clock on the wall in the exam center, you might realize that it just took you 5 minutes to answer that one question. And hey, let's say you're lucky. Let's say you did find it in the first paragraph. Yoo-hoo! Maybe the next one is going to take you 5 minutes. But with a skimming and scanning strategy, I guarantee you that it will take far too long to answer those questions. So for now, the correct strategy is just quickly read them before you read the passage. Okay, all of this is contained somewhere in the passage. Just read it. Yeah, Anna says make smaller, right? Anahita says water shortage, for example, could be another way. Yeah, there's lots of ways to paraphrase that for sure, right? And I know some of you might be getting a little bit tired of me saying don't skim and scan, but unfortunately I have to battle against the bad information on the internet, and believe me, there's still so many IELTS candidates that go into the exam and they have a terrible experience because they're following that bad advice, and then you see them just flipping through the pages like crazy in the paper-based, or clicking through the passages like crazy in the computer-based. And it's so sad to see that. It's so sad to see students get really exhausted and frustrated with that skimming and scanning strategy. So that should not be your main strategy, okay? It's not a good idea. If you can't read the passage and kind of understand it, then you should not take the IELTS. You should wait until you can read the passage and at least understand it about 70%, okay? All right? Okay, I can see the empathy from Chen there saying, ooh, yeah. All right, so let's just read these. So the degree of shrinkage of the Aral Sea in the past. So In history, the way the Aral Sea became smaller, you can kind of think of paraphrases. The human suffering from cotton production, so bad experience by people from growing cotton. The creation of the Aral Sea, so how the Aral Sea came to be. The development of cotton production in the USSR, okay, so the advancement of growing and manufacturing, harvesting cotton in the Soviet Union. The tool that accelerated the need for cotton, okay, the equipment that made it faster for cotton to be used. Again, just simple paraphrases here in your head as you're going through them in your exam. At home, you should write down what you're thinking, what it means, okay? And then we have this yes, no, not given, 2 questions, yeah, 2 questions. Yes, no, not given. Yes, no, not given, true, false, not given. Just ignore it. Maybe both of them are not given, or maybe one is not given, the other one is no. We don't know that. There's no point to even read that, so that's where you can save a little bit of time, right? You don't need to pay attention to those. Why? Because if it's not included or if it's not given, then you're just wasting your time. You'll figure that out after you read the passage. Again, skimming and scanning doesn't work for true, false, not given, yes, no, not given, because you can't skim and scan for information that's not there. Or you can, but that means you're reading or scanning the whole passage to realize that I don't think it's there. So the only way to actually get a good band score on the IELTS reading, meaning band 6.5, 7, 7.5 and higher, is to actually read the passage properly and then go through the answers. For all of you watching on the website, in your My Student account, in the full online academic course, you have the reading section lessons right there, and all of these strategies are explained to you in the premium version of the course. So make sure to go through all of the interactive slides, use the practice exams, and follow the strategies and tips there. These are proven strategies based on learning, psychology, exam skills, and preparation. Okay, so use those. Again, for those of you that are unsure of where to go, the websites are aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com. aehelp.com for academic and gieltshelp.com for general. All right, students, let's get into some reading. So let's read together. Again, read aloud, okay? Thank you, Chen, for putting the URL in the website. Yeah, again, learn the right strategies, students. IELTS is more of a college, university level test, so you need to have the right thinking. Here we go, everybody. Let's do this. So let's read from the title, and then afterwards our members and our viewers will have a chance to read and answer questions. Here we go. The Aral Sea is gone. Reasons and impacts. A century ago, the Aral Sea was the 4th largest lake on Earth. With water sourced from 2 rivers, the Avu Darya River and the Sir Darya River, the lake was a bountiful fishing source for lakeside communities throughout history. In the 20th century, this changed dramatically with the rise of the Soviet Union and the demand for cotton, which grew easily in the surrounding area. The Aral Sea, which is technically a lake, began to shrink. Today, there is almost no water left. It truly is one of the planet's worst environmental disasters. The Aral Sea is located between Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, 2 former Soviet republics. It was formed over 5 million years ago when geologic forces prevented the two rivers' water from reaching their final destination. These forces created a lake with an area of 68,000 square kilometers. A body of water that was full of fish for the neighboring communities. 200,000 generations relied on this fish to sustain themselves and trade with nearby groups. It wasn't until the mid-20th century that the situation changed. And when it began to change, it would not be long until all the water was gone and the local economies were ruined. Okay, read with me. The cotton fabric, which makes up much of modern clothing, comes from the cotton plant, which is native to tropical and subtropical regions worldwide, from the Americas to Africa and India and Australia. It has been processed by humans since antiquity. There is evidence of cotton production dating back 8,000 years in Peru. However, the invention of the cotton gin by Eli Whitney in 1794 transformed both the production of cotton and its environmental impact. Cotton production in the 20th century was fine-tuned. That is, it had been improved over time to optimize its output. What was not taken into account, however, was its environmental impact. In the 1940s, the USSR experienced a massive drought. There was no water for crops, and thus many people starved to death. Joseph Stalin, the director of the country, directed a great plan for the transformation of nature, the goal of which was to improve the agricultural output of the nation. One part of this plan involved transforming the lands of the Uzbek SSR, modern Uzbekistan, into cotton crops. This was not a bad idea at first thought. The Uzbek lakeside lands were suitable for the cultivation of the crop. The Soviets provided water for the crops by exploiting the natural water flow in the area, the Amudarya and Sirdarya rivers. This system was stable for about 20 years until the Soviet government decided to expand the irrigation system to increase production in the 1960s. This required more water. Water has to come from somewhere, and in this case, the water came from the two rivers. Because the water from the two rivers was also the source of the Aral Sea, it began to shrink. Starting in the 1960s, the Aral Sea shrank by 50 to 100 centimeters per year. By 1987, the lake had dried so much that it had been divided into two: the large Aral in the south and the small Aral in the north. This was an environmental disaster. The separation of the lake changed the salt levels in each lake, which resulted in wildlife deaths as well as increased evaporation levels, water loss. By 2002, the southern lake had completely evaporated, and by 2014, all the water was gone. What was left was called Aralkum, a desert. This desert is not just an interesting artifact of the human impact on the earth. Instead, the desert is a disease-riddled black hole whose dust blows through the region regularly, spreading illness and dangerous chemicals. For example, the USSR once operated a biological weapons facility in the lake, and now the chemical byproducts of the testing are open to the air and affect neighboring communities. As there is no water, there's also no fish. And this is catastrophic for the once lakeside communities. Not only have they lost a source of food, they have also lost a key industry. Today, the people of the region suffer from a poor economy, high levels of poverty, toxic drinking water, and a scarcity of resources. Cotton still grows in Uzbekistan. Indeed, the cotton harvest holds a special place in Uzbek culture, with the country coming together each year to take hold of the valuable crop and bring it to market. In a way, it is as if the Soviet ways still hold sway. The Uzbek economy relies on cotton production, with little regard for its environmental, social, and health impacts. In this sense, the destruction of the Aral Sea is a small-scale example of the environmental damage and exploitation we have brought upon the planet as a whole. It is too late for the Aral Sea, but is it too late for Earth? All right. Chen, indeed. Let's read. Welcome, Romelia. So before we get to the questions, everybody, I would love to give our members and our viewers a chance to read this as well. So we're going to do that now by using our website. Again, we'll volunteer. It's been a little bit touch and go recently, but that's okay. We'll give it a shot. So to volunteer for reading, let's go to aehelp.com, log into your accounts. If you don't have an account, create one. Okay. Chen, thank you for putting the instructions for everybody into the chat. Okay, so the way that this works is we go to the website. And again, if you don't have an account, you might need to create one. So our website is this one here, aehelp.com. You click on the big red button to join the premium version. To try it for free, click on the green button that's just below it. And then when you're in your My Student account, use this function here, the Student Partner Speaking. And after you are in here, I will be able to see you, you will be able to see me, and you can volunteer. You can see me as Master, so you will see me in here as Master. Easy to recognize, all uppercase letters. And just send me a message with the blue envelope. Say, I'd like to read, I'd like to volunteer, let me try, whatever works. Okay. Let's try, and you can see our premium students as well. Many of our channel members are also premium students. There's benefits to both. Okay. The website premium student is not the same as the YouTube member. Those are two different systems. Okay, everybody. So just keep that in mind. All right, Anahita, you're at the top here, and hopefully we can make a good connection today. Are you ready? I'm literally shouting it at you with all those capitals. Let me take that off. And then we should be able to connect.
Sir?
Hi, Anahita. How are you?
I am good. How about you?
I am doing quite well. Happy New Year, Anahita.
Happy New Year too, sir. Yesterday
right.
we couldn't connect, so I'm happy that today we could connect.
Yeah, me too. It's hard to figure out the internet sometimes.
Yes.
All right, so let's do some reading. Anahita, I'll just get you to read. So go ahead and read the title and the first two paragraphs, nice and smooth.
Okay. The Aral Sea is gone. Reasons and impacts. A century ago, the Aral Sea was the fourth largest lake on Earth, with water sourced from two rivers, the Amudarya River and the Sirdarya River. The lake was a bountiful fishing source for lakeside communities throughout history. In the 20th century, this changed dramatically. With the rise of the Soviet Union and the demand for cotton, which grew easily in the surrounding area, the Aral Sea, which is technically a lake, began to shrink. Today, there is almost no water left. It truly is one of the planet's worst environmental disasters.
Okay, perfect. Anahita, before you read B, let's just stop there for 1 second. So obviously this is the introductory paragraph here, right?
Yes.
Anahita, what is the goal of this introductory paragraph? Especially since we've already read the passage now once, we can recognize an interesting fact or an interesting point with this introduction. What does it tell us?
It introduces the RLC and it says that the RLC was a lake before, and it says the process of how it changed from how it says about the process how it become smaller.
Yeah, and an environmental disaster, right? So, how it was a kind of a tragedy. And if you look at this introduction carefully, Anahita, you might also realize that it's the whole introduction is basically one big thesis, right? It's like the outline of the entire essay. So, if we think about the reading we just did, it basically goes through in more detail for each of the points that the introduction gives us about what it used to be, how it was formed, what happened in modern history, why it became an environmental disaster. So it's like one big thesis statement that we're looking at here, right? Do you see that?
Yes, sir. With, I think it is from the 1 minute.
Well, if you look at the first two sentences, you realize that paragraph B kind of talks about that, and then the next sentence, paragraph C, and the next sentence, paragraph D. So it's like each sentence of the introduction becomes a full paragraph later on in the essay. Do you kind of see what I'm talking about there?
Yes, it's the paragraph B says about the location, and then I
C
can.
talks about the cotton, right? So, and then
Yes.
in the introduction, it introduces the concept of the cotton as well, right? So it's all kind of there, and it's nicely summarized in the introduction. So the introduction almost tells us where all of that information is located throughout the passage. So that's really it's a really important point for everybody who's taking the IELTS exam, because you can often use the introduction as a reference point, as kind of an index for the passage, right? Okay, Anahita, read B for us, please.
The Aral Sea, which is located between Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, two former Soviet republics, it was formed over 5 million years ago when geological forces prevented the two rivers from reaching their final destination. These two forces created a lake with an area of 68,000 square kilometers, a body of water that was full of fish for the neighboring communities. 200,000 generations relied on this fish to sustain themselves and trade with nearby groups. It wasn't until the mid 20th century that the situation changed, and when it began to change, it would not be long until all the water was gone and the local economics were ruined.
Okay, very nice. Anahita, really nice reading. Your reading has improved a lot. Your reading fluency is great. It's really moving along nicely. One tip, Anahita, and for everybody who reads as quickly as Anahita does, be careful, okay? So Anahita, at your speed, even aloud, I'm guessing when you read silently, you're even faster. So your speed is way enough to finish the passage and even read it twice if you have to. With your speed, you could read the passage in, I think, less than 5 minutes. So just be careful not to read so fast that you're losing comprehension. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
Right? So in the actual IELTS, if you read, let's say, 20% slower, you're still perfectly fine. And if that helps you to understand it much better, then read a little bit slower. Also, be really careful, Anahita, and everybody who's reading like Anahita, be really careful not to wash all the sentences together. So, for instance, Anahita, when you were reading this last, I'm just going to show with these last two sentences. So it wasn't until the mid 20th century that the situation changed. Stop at the period. Okay?
Okay.
And when it began to change, take a short pause at the comma. It would not be long until all the water was gone and the local economies were ruined. So make sure to pay attention to punctuation. Okay, it will help your comprehension.
Okay, sir.
All right. So it's a very common mistake by all people, native, non-native English speakers, that when they get good at reading, they start to just blend all of the sentences. Careful not to blend the sentences and the phrases. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right, Anahita, great reading, nice improvement. Hats off. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
You too. Bye, Anahita. That was really good. Let's give her a thumbs up. I'm sure that many of you who are in these classes regularly can agree with me that Anahita has definitely improved her reading, and it's fantastic to hear that. All right, Anna, hi. Let's see if you're ready. Are you ready? Here we go. Nice to see so many premium students.
Hello, Adrian. Hello.
Hi, Anna. How are you?
I'm doing great. Working all day.
Good for you. I like hearing that kind of positive attitude. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm doing terrible. I have to work. But you're like, I'm doing great. I'm working all day.
Especially when I need to improve one endurance of my boss. He forgot me to say what I need to do, and he really believes that he told me before, and he said you need to type this in the report. But I have no idea what I need to type because he didn't say, and like I say, yeah, okay. I need to create them by myself. Yes, this session.
The key is communication, right? So just a good, clear line of communication without any emotions or prejudice. That's always my strategy, right?
Yeah. Okay, I will call him later.
Yeah. Just give him very clear communication. This is what I intend to write. Can you confirm that this is correct, right? So just do it that way. All right, Anna. Well, I'm glad that you're enjoying your job, and it's good. Read a couple paragraphs for us here, starting with C. You should see it on.
Just a minute. I muted the YouTube. Just 1 second. I will. Just. See, yes. The cotton fabric, which makes up much of modern clothing, comes from the cotton plant, which is native to tropical and subtropical regions worldwide, from the Americas to Africa and India and Australia. It has been processed by humans since antiquity. There is evidence of cotton production dating back 8,000 years in Peru. However, the invention of the cotton gin by Whitney in 1794 transformed both the production of cotton and its environmental impact.
Okay, great. I'll get you to read D as well. Just before we go to D, what is the cotton gin?
It's material, I think, or something related, some material or some technique how to make cotton.
Okay, good. Yeah. A lot of people won't know it. In fact, even a lot of native speakers might not be familiar with this word cotton gin. So in the IELTS, you kind of have to be able to figure out what something might mean. And I think a lot of people have seen this in a movie or maybe a TV show or a museum. There is a very famous folk story with Rumpelstiltskin or something like that, with the cotton gin. So it's cotton gin. It's a machine, right, that helps to use cotton. Do you know what this machine looks like?
No, but I can imagine how it.
Have you ever seen that machine that it's got this big wheel and then it's got a person kind of sitting? I don't know exactly how it looks like, so I'm just remembering what I've seen in TV shows. And I think they push with their foot and it spins the wheel like this. and then they're able to make cotton fabric, something like that. And they're able to make the cotton fabric much faster, which they can use for clothes. Do you know what I'm talking about? It used to be made out of
Y-
wood. It looks like a
Yes,
weird bicycle
yes,
upside
I
down.
know. I watched film about famous designer Yves Saint Laurent, and they mentioned about this, how they produce like materials, how they produce. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So that's what comes to mind. That's the cotton gin. Okay, good. So yeah, you want to, when you're in the IELTS and you see that kind of information, it's important to take a second and go, okay, what is that? What have I seen before that
Mhm.
could be that machine? Okay, when you see D, Anna, go ahead and read.
Cotton production in the 20th century was fine-tuned. That is, it had been improved over time to optimize its output. What was not taken into account, however, was its environmental impact. In the 1940s, the USSR experienced a massive drought. There were no water for crops, and thus many people starved to death. Joseph Stalin, the director of the country, directed a great plan for transformation of nature, the goal of which was to improve the agricultural outputs of the nation. One part of this plan involved the transforming the lands of the Uzbek SSR, modern Uzbekistan, into cotton crops. This was not a bad idea at first thought. The Uzbek lakeside lands were suitable for the cultivation of the crop. The Soviet irrigation provided water for crops by exploiting the natural water flow in the area, the Amur Darya and Sir Darya rivers. This system was stable for about 20 years until the Soviet government decided to expand the irrigation system to increase production in 1960s. This requires more water. Water has come from somewhere, and in this case, the water came from the two rivers. Because the water from the two rivers was also the source of the Aral Sea, it began to shrink.
Okay, Anna, what is this paragraph mainly about? In a simple
This
sentence.
Yeah, this is about drought, which has SSSR and how they overcome this problem in the Uzbek Republic, and they made the irrigation system and all this
Too much
way.
information, Anna. You have to be much simpler than that. Okay.
But
So,
it's
in a
yeah.
simple sentence, what is this paragraph about? What is this paragraph about? Ask me the question, Anna. Say, Adrian, what
What,
is this paragraph about?
what again? What is this paragraph about?
It's about using the Aral Sea for cotton production in the 20th century and
Yeah,
making it shrink.
yeah,
That's what it's about, right? So
yeah.
that's mainly what it's about. There's another important point here, Anna, that I want to show you and everybody, which is quite interesting. So a big part of our human existence is our social existence, right? We're very social. We
Yes,
interact with each other, we rely on each other, we are not like bears, we live in groups, right? We're more like wolves, we live in packs, and we help each other. And for that purpose, a big part of our existence is explanations. We explain to each other, right? So right now I'm explaining to you how to do the IELTS
mhm,
reading. When we first started talking, you were explaining to me how your boss had some unrealistic expectations of you in your
mhm,
work today, right? So we do a
yeah,
lot of explanation in life. And we have a lot of tools for explanations in our speech and in our writing. And these tools are sometimes different from culture to culture. So it's important to recognize these tools that different cultures, different languages use for explanations, right? Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay, now one of the main tools, or one of the key tools that's used in English literature, writing, reading, are punctuation marks,
Punctuation.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So here, this paragraph is exemplary. It's fantastic for showcasing how punctuation
Yeah.
is
Commas.
used. Yeah, not just commas, but also these dashes. They're
Oh,
called
dashes.
dash,
Yeah.
right? These long dashes. And there's lots of them. So when somebody's at home and they're doing their reading and they're practicing for the IELTS, it's really good to just stop for a moment and then identify all of these. So I'm just going to skim through this and just show you how many there are in this one. It's quite impressive.
It's five.
There
Five
are
dashes.
lots, right?
Yeah.
So
5 or 6.
yeah, so it says in 1940, the USSR experienced a massive drought. Now, some people might be like, what is a drought, right? It might be a new word for them in
Yeah.
English.
No
Well,
water in there.
yeah, so here you have this dash, right? And
Mm-hmm.
here you have the definition, no water for crops, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then here afterwards you have a comma. So it's a combination of a dash with a comma. And thus many
Oxford
people
comma.
starve
Yeah.
to death, right? And then here, notice the next sentence, Joseph Stalin, comma,
Mm.
right? The director of the country. That's
Mm.
again a definition, right? It's defining who
Mm.
Joseph Stalin was. So sometimes you have questions in the IELTS reading where it's like,
Mm.
find this person. Well,
Mm.
here, if the question is the leader of the country at the time, then you know, oh, okay, that's that one because that definition was
Mm.
there between the two commas, right?
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
Okay. Directed the great plan for transformation, the goal of which was to improve the agricultural output of the nation. And then here it says, one part of this plan involved transforming the lands of the Uzbek SSR, so the Uzbek Soviet Socialist Republic, right? And then here we have another dash.
Yeah. 2 dashes in 2 words.
Modern Uzbekistan. Exactly. So again, it's telling me that modern Uzbekistan is the same as the Uzbek SSR, right?
Mm.
So here it's dash dash. And then here it says this was not bad idea at first thought. Okay, and then we have another dash. The
Yeah.
Uzbek. So this is the reason. This is the explanation here, right? The
Mm-hmm.
Uzbek lakeside lands were suitable for the cultivation of the crop. Now, before we all get super bored of all this punctuation, because we see it later here as well, the Soviets irrigated, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning dash dash, they provided water,
Mm-hmm.
right? So more. So here we have the definition for irrigated. If somebody's wondering, what does that mean, irrigated? Irrigated means to control and provide water, right?
Water. How water like circle in for plants? How it's.
Yeah, exactly. And then here it says for the crops by exploiting the natural water flow in the area. The natural water flow in the area. And then check this out, Anna. Here we have a colon.
Yeah.
If you thought we couldn't get any trickier, right? Now we have a colon instead of a comma or the dash. And here we have the Amu Darya and the Sir Darya rivers. So the natural flow, water flow in the area is the Amu Darya and the Sir Darya rivers. So again, we have more definitions. So really understanding that punctuation can
Yeah,
definitely
it's
help a
really
lot.
beautiful, like paragraph about punctuation, and this text has lots of different punctuation features, which is beautiful to see how in English people use these punctuation features.
Absolutely, to mold, manipulate, change, control the information, the
Yeah.
explanations. And they actually also control the intonation and the enunciation of the language as well. So there is a reason why the writer is using in certain places dashes, in certain places commas, in certain places a colon. I'm not going to get into that technical aspect right now because you don't need to be that detailed for the IELTS exam, but it's important to know that that these show explanations and definitions of important terms, right? So
Yeah.
that's key there. All right, so Anna, thank you so much for reading. I appreciate
Thank
that.
you. What about my reading intonation and speed? Has it been improved? Yeah, for the last.
Of course it has, and of course it has. So, I really emphasized it for Anahita. We heard her read very quickly there. But yeah, Anna, of course it has. As you're reading more and more, of course it's getting better and better. One last tip there, Anna, since you asked, whenever you feel like you might not be pronouncing a word, expression, or an acronym correctly, you can always put it into Google, and Google now has the audio, so you can just click the audio and it will say it for you. So, for example, in this case, it's USSR.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
USSR experience, right? There were just a couple words that were a little bit off in the pronunciation, but overall, you're really doing a great job. Okay.
Okay, thank you. I will be waiting for your email for the link for premium student on
Yeah,
Sunday.
I'm going to send that out today. I haven't sent out the link yet, so I'm going to send that out today. But if you don't see it within 24 hours, then definitely send me an email. Okay?
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay. Bye, Anna.
Bye bye.
All right. That was Anna. Let's give Anna a thumbs up. Students, I'm just going to reload the page. Romelia, I do see you there. So if you guys could just reload the student partner speaking page. I think I timed out on my end there. And then I'll reach out to you so I can see Romelia's here. I'm guessing a lot of you are reloading it when you time out. So Romelia, are you there? If you see my message, let me know. And then we'll keep going here. Romelia, also one of our premium members and channel members as well. Hi, Romelia. I don't hear you, Romelia. Just give me 1 second, okay? I'm just going to do something here. Well, okay, we can try it that way. Let's see. Hello? No, I still don't hear you, Romelia. Romelia, I'm going to do something here. Just give me 1 second. I'll quickly try this. Everybody will have to maybe rejoin the chat. Hi, Romelia?
Can you hear me?
Oh,
yeah.
Now I can. Yeah,
hello.
Now I can. Yeah. Now I hear you.
Finally.
Did you change something on your end or just call me?
It's okay. I can hear you very well.
Oh, okay. Did you change some settings, like your microphone setting or something?
No, nothing.
No? Okay. Just made a better connection. Okay.
Everything is as usual.
All right. Okay. How are you doing, Romelia? How is 2024?
Like after the festive, period. A bit lazy and eager to start.
Good. I finally took down our Christmas tree yesterday.
For a fresh start, so to speak.
Exactly, right? A lot of people, you know what a lot of people do here at the start of the year is they on January.
New Year resolution, yeah.
No, not the New Year's resolution. On January 1st, I went for a nice big run, and I was running along the ocean because where I live, it's the Pacific Ocean, and a lot of people swim in the ocean, even though it's very cold, to get a fresh start to the new year.
Oh, I see.
So it's kind of like washing away all of the old year and getting a fresh start.
All the troubles.
Yeah, it's called a polar bear swim. Polar bear swim. All right, Romelia.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's fun. Are you ready to read?
Sure.
Okay, let's do E and F. You should see E on the screen.
Okay, E, yeah? Starting in 1960s, the RLC shrank by 5,100 centimeters per year. By 1987, the lake had dried so much that it had been divided into two, the large Aral in the south and the small Aral in the north. It was an environmental disaster. The separation of the lake changing the salt levels in each lake, which resulted in wildlife deaths, as well as increased evaporation level, water loss. By 2002, the southern lake had completely evaporated, and by 2014, all the water was gone. What was left was called a lacum, a desert. Okay.
All right. In a very simple way, what is this paragraph telling us?
The consequence of this natural disaster, I would say.
Yeah, the actual technical shrinkage and disappearance of the sea in modern history, right? Okay, F, go for it.
This desert is not just an interesting artifact of the human impact on the Earth. Instead, the desert is a disease-riddled black hole whose dust blows through the region regularly, spreading illness and dangerous chemicals. For example, the USSR once operated a biological weapons facility in the lake, and now the chemical byproducts of the testing are open to the air and affect neighboring communities. There is no water, there is also no fish, and it is catastrophic for one's lakeside communities. Not only have they lost the source of food, they have also lost a key industry. Today, the people of the region suffer from a poor economy, high levels of poverty, toxic drinking water, and the scarcity of resources.
I'm starting to get jealous, Romelia. I don't know if I can read that fast. You're reading
I'm
very
very
quickly.
passionate of accent, of a good pronunciation.
All right, now
honestly.
here's the funny and ironically bad
I know
news.
it was terrible. I know my
No, it was great.
pronunciation is
No,
terrible.
no, it was great.
Lot
It was
of
fun.
mistakes.
Okay, Romelia, first of all, pronunciation. I understand your English better than some other native English in some parts of the world. So there's nothing wrong with your pronunciation. Secondly, the irony here is it's too fast for students who are taking the IELTS. And I know, Romelia, for you, it's not necessarily the primary goal, but for those who are taking the IELTS, you should not read that fast. Okay, you should read slower. Right? It's too fast.
No. Actually, it is for this year because it would be the only way I will be confident when it comes to my English. I took my I got my C2 certificate back Cambridge, and I don't know. Seems to be a good level of English, but I don't know. My IELTS will be the maximum challenge.
Yeah,
So
I agree. And, I also agree that when you're practicing at home, it's good to reach your level of reading fluency. So you do want to be able to read that fast. And here's the interesting part. When you first read the passage in the IELTS, you need to read slower and really focus on understanding what you're reading. However, when you get to the questions and you have to go back and check information or try to find information because you don't remember it, it's almost impossible for anybody to remember all the information, then you have to read quite quickly to identify where it was. So the second time that you're reading a paragraph or a sentence, you should be reading about this speed that you're reading right now. Okay, so the first time you read it, slower, but the second time should be quite quick. So it's actually a good example of that, Romelia, for sure. Okay. All right. Now, hopefully here, while you were reading, Romelia, you realize that paragraph F here really gets into the impact part of the passage, right? Remember the title, Romelia? It says the Aral Sea is gone. Reasons and impacts. Remember that?
Yeah.
So, a clever reader on the IELTS exam hopefully recognizes that roughly until paragraph D, maybe even E, we have the reasons, and then from the end of E downward, we have the impact, right? So at the end of E, it says, what was left was called Aralkum, a desert, right? And then it keeps going and explaining what the impacts were of this change, right? So we can kind of separate the paper or the essay into these two parts, right? It's important. It's important to recognize that, right? To be able to structure the information. All right, Romelia, thank you so much for reading. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you too. Bye-bye.
Bye, Romelia. All right, let's keep going here. Karem, I know you just signed back up for our YouTube membership, so let's give you a chance here. Are you ready? Karem, hopefully you're there. Ghazi, good to see you. Ghazi says the impulsivity method of reading. In some sense, yes, Ghazi, I would agree with you.
Hello,
Hi, Karem. How are you?
I am doing good. How are you?
I am doing quite well also. Thank you for asking. All right. Are you ready to read, Karem?
Yes,
Okay. And I believe we are now in paragraph G, right? It's the last one. Yeah.
yeah.
Let's do it. So go ahead and read G for me when you're ready.
Cotton still grows in Uzbekistan. Indeed, the cotton harvest holds a special place in Uzbek culture, with the country coming together each year to take hold of the valuable crop and bring it to market. In a way, it is as if the Soviet way still holds sway. The Uzbek economy relies on cotton production with little regard for its environmental, social, and health impacts. In this sense, the destruction of the Aral Sea is a small-scale example of the environmental damage and explosion we have brought upon the planet as a whole. It is too late for the Aral Sea, but is it too late for Earth?
Krem, great. So after hearing all of that very quick reading from Romelia, right, it's a bit of a nice change to hear a little bit of a slower paced reading. Krem, that speed, some people are like, because we're relative, right? Humans always compare, and they're like, wow, that's quite slow compared to what Romelia was doing. But here's the fun fact: your speed, Krem, is absolutely fast enough to get a great score on the IELTS exam. So with your speed, you will still finish this passage in less than 10 minutes, which means that you have like 45 seconds on average for each of the questions. And that should be lots of time to answer them as long as you use the correct strategy. So, Karem, you don't really need to read faster to get a good band score, like a 7 or even an 8 on the reading section, okay? What
Yes.
you have to focus on is really just understanding it. So here you read the conclusion. It basically said, okay, the Aral Sea is gone. Is it going to be the same fate for the Earth? Uzbekistan still continues to produce cotton, and we kind of had that conclusion there. Let's get to some questions. So, Karem, you only got one paragraph, so let's give you another bit of reading here with this first question. Questions 14 to 19. Can you just read the instructions for us?
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Complete the table below. Choose one word only from the passage for each answer.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Write your answers in the boxes 14 to 19 on your answer sheet.
Okay, great. All right, and then read the column titles.
And subject and comments.
Okay, good. And read the first subject and the first comment.
Aral Sea. Though it is called a sea, the Aral Sea is actually one of the largest blah blah in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
What do you
I
think?
need to,
What do you think should go in there? Now that we've read the passage, what do you think should go in there?
yeah, I think is actually one of the largest lakes in the
Mm-hmm.
world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Karem, you get a bonus point from me because you gave me the absolute correct answer. A lot of people would just very quickly say lake, and then they would go on, and they'd get it wrong, right, Karem?
Hmm.
Why?
Because it's a grammatical rule, I think one of the largest means one of the uh, plural things.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Very smart, Karem. Absolutely. It's always one of many, right? One
Yeah, yeah.
of many. So it's one of the largest lakes in the world. And that's a very important little detail there to get that correct. So clever and correct, Karem. Very good. Keep going.
The body of the water was formed when geologic force affected the flow of two blah blah, the Amu Darya and the Sir Darya.
Mm-hmm. And what's
I
the
think
answer there? Yeah.
I think it was rivers.
Yeah. Perfect. And again, plural, and you're correct, and it's two, right? So that
Reverse.
was obviously a plural. There's no way somebody should be getting that wrong. Now, here, you answered these questions in a matter of seconds, right? So this didn't take you 45 seconds.
Mhm.
And you're probably not going to skim or scan for this, right? You shouldn't. It's very
Yeah,
important that you have confidence in your answers, right? So I'm guessing, Karem, in the real exam, you would just put these words and then keep going, right?
yeah. I don't need to skim and scanning
Mm.
because when I reading, I also try to understand the uh, passage
Mm-hmm.
because it comes from your strategy. I am visualizing
Mm-hmm.
actually,
Yeah.
so that's why it's easy.
Yeah, what I always tell students when you're going for those bands 7, 8, 9, which most candidates are, obviously, um, ideally, you're not searching for half of your answers. So if you are doing the IELTS exam correctly, whether it's at home, you're doing your practice exam, or the real exam at the British Council or IDP Center, um, 50%, so that means 20 of the 40 questions in the reading section, you should not be going back to the passage and looking for answers. If a person is looking for more than half of those answers in the passage again, it means that they're not using correct strategies for reading and for questions. And that's definitely one reason they'll run out of time. If you're searching for 30, 35 questions or checking 35 questions out of 40, for sure you're going to run out of time. I would run out of time if I did that too. So for at least half of them, you should be able to do what you just did, Karem, where you just say, okay, that's lakes. Next one is rivers. Okay. Some of them where you're not sure if it's the exact word, or you might have to just confirm and be like, yeah, okay, that's definitely the answer. Then yeah, it's a good idea to go back and just, give that confidence or assurance. But for about half of them, no, right, Karem?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Ideally, by the way, if somebody's curious, ideally, if you're going for a band 8.5 or 9, then I would say it's closer to about 70%. So closer to like 30 out of 40 questions, you should not be going back to the passage to check. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Karem, thank you so much for reading. That was really great. And Happy New Year to you as well, Karem.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you also.
Bye, Karem. We'll see you again. Okay.
Bye. Thank you.
All right, that was Karem. Karem's great. Just I love Karem. If you're still listening to me, I love Karem's approach. It's the Karem's definitely got that methodical, steady, keep moving forward, one step, one step, one step. Karem's the type of guy I would feel comfortable climbing a mountain with, because I'm sure that he's just not going to rush. He's going to pay attention to every step, make sure every rope is tied correctly, every pivot is done well. So yeah, Karem's that guy. It's great. All right, Ghazi, let's check in. Ghazi, yes, are you ready? I know you've been in the class, and Ghazi also a premium member and a member of our YouTube here. So Ghazi, if you're with us, give me a sign. Love to hear your voice. Hopefully you're still with me. Thanks for all the thumbs up, everybody. It's yeah, support is super important. All right, Ghazi. Ghazi, I hear something.
Hello,
There you are. Hi,
how are
Ghazi.
you?
I'm good.
Yeah, I just turned the headset. Yeah, I use a new one now. So I was worried it doesn't work, but good to see you and hear your sound. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you and your whole family, Ghazi. I hope you had a nice holiday.
Thank you. Yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah, we just moved to St. John's actually last month.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Uh, Yeah, it was a big plan. So that was I was busy due to that, so
Oh yeah.
I didn't. And also I was busy with two courses. I had two exams last month also.
Ghazi, I
So
don't even know how you do it. 2 exams, a move with 4 children, and if I'm not mistaken, your children are kind of relatively still quite young too, right?
yeah, 4 children, yeah,
Yeah.
and a big move and 2 exams. So all these things came together.
Just be
Yeah,
careful. Make sure you don't burn out, right? So make sure you take a
yeah, yeah.
moment.
So yeah, it's a tough month, but I'm okay. Yeah. So no,
All right, and now you're
yeah,
here and you're learning with us, Ghazi. So hats off to you. All right, Ghazi, help
yeah.
us out with some questions here. We're gonna go to the next subject and the next questions here. Go ahead and
Okay.
read the subject. Now, again, it's very important, everybody, to read the subject. So don't just kind of quickly look at it, but read it and process it. So read the subject here, Ghazi, and then let's read the answers.
Yeah, the subject here is cotton, about
Cotton.
the
Hmm.
cotton. Yeah, cotton, by the way, is an Arabic word, maybe, if
I think it is. I
I'm
think you're
not
right.
mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cotton. We say cotton in Arabic, but here cotton
Mm-hmm.
in English. Yeah, cotton comes from the cotton plant, which can be found in many warmer regions of the world. The oldest evidence of cotton production has been found in. Okay, I should find the word. Yeah, it was in the background. Actually, this may
Mm-hmm.
be the
Mm-hmm.
production. Yeah, the country, the Peru, I guess.
Ah, nice. There, see, good. See, when you
Yeah,
remember it. Now, here, if you're like, I'm not sure if it was Peru or not, then you can go back and
yeah,
check. But you're right. It was
maybe
Peru.
8,000 years ago, like that. I remember.
Exactly. Good for you. Yeah, you visualized it. You saw it. It was there. It was Peru, maybe in Monte Picchu or something. Yeah, and it's Peru. I mean, this is one of those ones, Ghazi, where if I have a lot of extra time left and I wasn't 100% sure, I might check
Mm,
it. But I probably wouldn't. So if I remembered it just like you remembered it now, I would just write it
mm,
down. The only aspect I would check if I wasn't sure, Ghazi, is the spelling,
yeah,
just to make sure that it's spelled Peru.
yeah,
But at
exactly.
least now, if you search for it, like if you're skimming or scanning, you can search for the word Peru. It's a lot easier, right, than searching for
Yeah,
some
yeah.
word, right?
Mm.
Yeah. So good
I
for you.
find it easy to remember the countries' names and
Hmm.
numbers. So
Absolutely. Keep
yeah,
going.
yeah. The natural resource cotton production requires more than anything else. Should be a blank here or
Is
requires.
something. Yeah.
Okay, requires more than anything else. Is this has resulted in the depletion of the Aral Sea.
Yep. The word is correct. It's depletion. Yep. Depletion means like using it up or exhausting it, using all of the material, all of what it has. So, what do you think that blank is based on it requires
Yeah.
more than anything else and the depletion of the Aral Sea? What do you think is the answer in that blank?
Okay, here we talk about the cotton production requires what? Okay, natural
Good, good.
resource.
No, no, no. Don't overthink it. Ghazi, what you just said to me is all you need. You said cotton production requires what? What does it require?
Actually maybe the water.
Yeah, don't
Water,
maybe
yeah.
it. Be confident. It
Is
requires
is
water.
is more water. Yeah, the problem in the water. Yeah, that.
Yeah, it's what it
That
needs, right? It's what.
yeah. Okay.
So be confident, right? That's a
Mhm.
really important point here,
Yeah.
guys, because both of your answers. So for 16 you said Peru, and for 17
Mm.
you said water. What actually worries me as your quote unquote IELTS instructor is that I'm not
Yeah.
hearing enough confidence in your voice. So when you have
Mm.
correct answers like this, I really want to hear confidence out of
Mm.
candidates or out of students where they're like, no, okay, it's Peru and it's water. One way to do that, by the way, Ghazi, listen up, everybody. One way to do that is read the sentence with your answer. So
Yeah.
you can go, okay, the oldest evidence of cotton production has been found in Peru
Mm.
8,000 years ago. Okay,
Mm.
that makes sense. I'm now confident, right?
Yeah.
Today,
That's
the natural resource cotton production requires more than anything else is water. This has resulted in the depletion of the Aral Sea. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to just stay with that, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so if you're not confident, instead of, because what a lot of people will do is they'll start searching really quickly. Before you start searching, just read the sentence with your answer, and then oftentimes you'll realize that, yeah, no, that's perfectly a good answer, and then you'll keep going. Okay?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Go to
Let's do one.
continue.
Let's do one more, Ghazi. Let's do modern day Uzbekistan.
Yeah, modern day Uz- Uzbekistan. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cotton production is going in Uzbekistan, and its economy still relies on it. Indeed, cotton production is part of Uzbekistan. Okay, here we talk about a certain country too for the cotton production. Okay, the economy still lays on it. Okay, they lays to on it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
too much. Indeed, cotton production is part of maybe culture or
Yeah.
something.
Okay. Perfect. So what
Culture.
I would do here, Ghazi, yeah, you're 100% right. Again, be confident. So I would
Mm,
put culture.
yeah.
Okay. Now, it could be something like identity of Uzbekistan, right? Part of
Okay.
the identity of Uzbekistan, culture of Uzbekistan.
Yeah.
So, what I
Yes.
would do here in the actual IELTS exam is I would mark it, and
Mm,
I would maybe put a little circle around it if it's the paper based. Or if
mm,
I'm in the computer based exam,
yeah.
then on my note paper, I would indicate this number, 18.
Mm,
And
okay.
if I have time, and only if I have time, I would go back and check. Because I'm like, I don't know, I would say I'm about 80% sure that this is going to be
Mm,
correct. So
yeah.
80% is quite high. I wouldn't waste an extra 2-3 minutes trying to figure this out
Yeah. Yeah.
unless I have extra time. If I don't, I would just leave it as culture and keep moving on. So let's do that for now. Let's just leave it as culture and let's just
Mm.
keep moving. Okay, go for negative effects.
Yeah, and negative effects. Cotton production has many negative effects on communities, on the environment, and on the something of individuals.
Hmm.
Okay, here there's the bad negative effects for cotton communities and environment and on the should be something health maybe.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's a very good answer,
Mm,
right? Health of individuals. I mean, if you think about cotton production and you visualize it, it's just a very unhealthy industry for many, many
yeah.
reasons. Even picking cotton is so hard on the people's body,
Mm,
on people's backs, right? So I really
yeah.
appreciate all the people working in the cotton industry. By the way, it's a very tough industry, right? And it's terrible for the
Okay.
health of individuals. So again, this one is very much the same as culture. I'm 80%
Mm,
sure, right? Lives is too general. Health is definitely, what I think would be the right answer as well. So 80% sure. I would leave it, and then I would go back and check.
mm.
I will let you do that, Ghazi, so you can go back and check. But hint, hint, you're probably right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, here's the challenge where you will find it in which paragraph
And it could
actually.
take a lot of time, right? It could take a lot of time
Yeah.
to find that. So the reason why, okay, here's another interesting concept, Ghazi.
Mm,
The reason why I would not check these at this point, when I'm
mm,
80% sure and it makes sense, and if I read it again, it makes sense. The reason
yeah.
why I wouldn't check that right now is because we have more questions, right? So that was only the
Yeah.
first question set. We
Mm.
have 20 to 26 still coming up, 7 more questions, right?
Yeah, that is on the principle here. I can understand. I don't need sacrifice time on 2 questions and left the others 3 or 4 or 5 questions.
Exactly. And not only that, Ghazi, but logically, when I
Mm.
do the other 6, 7 questions, I might actually find the answer to those other
Yeah.
two. when I'm doing those ones. So if I have to, for number 20, I'm looking at the degree of shrinkage of the Aral Sea in the past. As I'm looking for which paragraph had that information, I might also suddenly realize that, oh, it was the culture of Uzbekistan. It says it right there. So I don't have to double search, right? But I actually find it while I'm looking for the next answers, right? So,
That's a good.
and
Tech,
oftentimes,
good
guys,
tech.
you'll even have it in the question. The question will have the answer, the next question. So, okay.
Yeah, it's a good tactic actually.
Yeah, strategy,
Yes,
right? Having the right
strategy.
strategy, absolutely.
So,
Well, Ghazi, I'm really happy that you're settled into your new place. We'll find
thank
out more
you.
about that, I'm sure, and I'm happy you're back in the live classes. I hope to see you in more of the classes coming up, okay?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks for having me and have a nice day. We'll
Thanks,
see you later.
Ghazi. We'll talk
Okay.
later. Bye, Ghazi.
Bye bye.
All right, what a great guy. Hats off to Ghazi. Just a big thumbs up to Ghazi for that. All right, everybody. We are running out of time, everybody, and I can see many of you are like, oh, thank you for the lesson. Yes, indeed. I don't want to rush the rest of the questions. So I'll leave the rest of the questions to you, everyone, these matching headings. A lot of you know how to do these. There are not matching headings, matching information. A lot of you know how to do these. I'll show you the questions, and if you decide to answer these questions, send me an email with your answers, and I will send you the answer key. Okay, so here are questions 20 to 26. Slowly, I'll bring them up on the screen. You can watch this video on YouTube again, stop the video, go back. You can see the passage again and different parts of the lesson. And then you can answer these. You can send your answers to me. Here's my email again. Okay. Adrian at aehelp.com and admin at aehelp.com. You can send your reading answers there. Also, just a quick reminder, everybody, we're looking for people who like editing videos, who enjoy media, graphics, digital video, especially if you have some experience using Adobe Premiere or DaVinci Resolve editing. We're looking for some editors, so you can send a CV to me as well. And don't forget to join our premium package at aehelp.com for academic IELTS, gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. We will have a special premium student class on Sunday at 15 o'clock UTC, which will be a speaking part exclusive to premium students. I will be sending the Zoom link and passcode later today, so keep an eye out in your email for that. Coming up in 30 minutes, everybody, we will be doing listening section practice, strategy together, again, using the websites. So if you're in these lessons regularly, do check out the websites. Ghazi, Anna, Anahita, and all of the volunteers, Romelia, thank you so much. All of our viewers, thank you so much. I hope to see you in half an hour. Stretch your legs, grab a glass of water, hydrate, and we'll meet back here shortly. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Victoria, Canada. Bye for now, everyone.